The Berea of Madagascar have stunned the Super Eagles of Nigeria 2-0 to finish top of Group AB at the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Madagascar, who are ranked 108th in the world, took the lead in the 13th minute when Lelena Nomenjanari capitalized on the defensive error to claim an early opener. Carolus Andreas' deflected free kick then ensured Madagascar went into the last 16 as winners of Group B. Nigeria, who have already secured a place in the last 16, finished as runners-up, having won their first two group games.
He had his arm up for it, did Balogun, and then he dithers. The permutations for the best third places will be very interesting indeed. That's going to be a free kick to Madagascar. Andrea packs a powerful shot. Andrea off the wall! It's in! Madagascar lead 2-0.
Meanwhile, in the other Group B match, the Silly National of Guinea beat the Swallows of Burundi 2-0, but must wait until the end of the group stage to see if they will advance as one of the best losers. Hosts Egypt have ended Group A of the Africa Cup of Nations with maximum points after defeating Uganda 2-0 at Cairo International Stadium. The Pharaohs, already qualified before the game, guaranteed the group's top spot in grand style, winning all three matches of their mini-league campaign. Meanwhile, Uganda qualified to the round of 16, finishing the group in second place, 1 point more than DR Congo, who defeated Zimbabwe 4-0. Red Bull's Max Verstappen has won a thrilling Austrian Grand Prix for the second year in a row, while champions Mercedes' 10-race winning streak came to an end earlier today. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, starting on pole, finished second after defending hard against Verstappen, with the two 21-year-olds banging wheels as the Dutchman forced his way past. Verstappen took the flag under investigation. Valtteri Bottas finished third for Mercedes, with champion leading teammate Lewis Hamilton fifth. In tennis, world number one Novak Djokovic admits he still values winning Grand Slams as he prepares to compete for the 16th major victory of his career at this week's Wimbledon tournament. The Serb was a surprise victor in 2018, but is favourite to retain his title despite the presence of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the draw.
Well, there is quite a difference. You know, obviously I'm approaching this year's Wimbledon as defending champion and number one of the world. And last year, you know, I was in top 20, but I did drop out of top 20, you know, after French Open, I think, and coming off from the surgery and being unable to have a consistency with the results. This was a huge springboard for me, the win at Wimbledon last year. That's what kind of gave me that push, and also a huge relief. After that, it was all upwards, right? You know, winning Cincinnati for the first time and US Open. You know, one Grand Slam can definitely change anyone's career.
U.S. President Donald Trump today made history by becoming the first sitting U.S. president to enter into North Korea. President Trump and the North's leader Kim Jong-un posed for handshakes after their talks earlier. They then went back to the demilitarized zone for another hour of talks. A moment in history the world would never forget. President Donald Trump met the North Korean leader in the demilitarized zone between the two Koreas, shaking hands warmly, while both expressed hopes for peace. It would be the third time the two leaders would be meeting in just over a year, and one that raises hopes for a revival of stalled nuclear talks. Photo ops over, President Trump, escorted by Mr. Kim, then briefly crossed a military demarcation line that had for years represented a tense Cold War border into the north, becoming the first ever sitting U.S. president to set foot in the reclusive country. Moments later, they returned to the South Korean side to join President Moon Jae-in for a brief chat, marking an unprecedented three-way gathering. Mr. Trump and Kim would have their own bilateral talks. At the truce village of Panmunjom, President Trump said he would invite Mr. Kim to the White House. As Mr. Kim told President Trump, he was surprised to see his message that he wanted to meet him.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, sorry. So I would invite him right now to the White House.
South Koreans watching the meetings on television welcomed the historic moment of the two leaders shaking hands and hope the meeting will become a momentum to bring peace and denuclearization on the peninsula. And as the leaders say their goodbyes, the world will be watching to see the outcome of this historic moment. Leaders within the European Union have been meeting in Brussels to decide who should get the bloc's top jobs, including a successor to EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. Dutch centre-left politician Frans Timmermans is being pitched as Mr. Juncker's successor. But politicians in Poland, Hungary and Romania are uncomfortable with the way he's enforced the EU rule of law policy. The EU Commission drafts EU laws, oversees national budgets, enforces EU treaties and negotiates international trade deals. The Rest Summit is holding because EU leaders failed on June 20 to agree on candidates for the Commission President's job and other top posts, such as the European Council President, to replace Mr. Donald Tusk, High Representative for Foreign Policy, to replace Ms. Federica Mogherini, and European Parliament President and European Central Bank President. And the main news again. Protesters today thronged premises of Koza churches in Lagos and Abuja, demanding the resignation of its senior pastor, Biodun Fatoyinbo, over allegations of rape. U.S. President Donald Trump has become the first sitting U.S. president to visit North Korea following his meeting with Kim Jong-un at an area dividing the two Koreas. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.